Hi, my name is Sharmaine. I come from Alam Impian Shah Alam. So, what living sustainably means to me is, well, living comfortably, of course, but also prioritizing the use of our natural and renewable resources, not taking more than we need, and with minimal damage as possible to our natural environment for the sake of our future generations. So conserving our environment is super important because it's the very thing that's keeping us alive. And adding some climate science context into this, our Earth is 4.5 billion years old, and we are currently living in the Holocene epoch. And reason why I'm bringing this up is because the Holocene epoch is the only epoch in the entire existence of the Earth that has a climate that seems to be almost specially crafted to support human civilization. But yet, us as humans, we are taking that for granted, and we are constantly putting more and more pressure onto the stability of our climate, the very thing that's keeping us alive. And the more polluted our land, our water, and our air gets, the more poisoned our soul and our body becomes. And I think that people just tend to forget that it is us who needs the planet and not the other way around. What's even more pressing is that climate change has already been taking effect for a while now, and every single day thousands, if not millions, of people are being affected by climate change, losing their homes, their livelihoods, their families. And I think as human beings, we should really take care of one another and make sure that everyone is safe, and especially our children and our children's children. So how I usually practice living sustainably, it mainly includes me reducing the amount of waste that I throw away into my general bin as much as possible. So for example, when I was living in a small tiny dorm with a small balcony, what I did was I tried to vermicompost, and that means composting your waste with some worms to speed up the process. And so basically anything that's organic, so your food waste, your kitchen waste, or food that has been left over and got bad, or even your garden waste, cut out leaves and grass and twigs and everything, you put that in a bin with some worms and some soil. And so whenever you have waste, you just dump it in there. The worm will be eating the waste, and they'll produce the best fertilizers in the world. Other than your food waste and your organic waste, your solid waste, for example, plastics, paper, aluminum, glass, anything that's recyclable, basically, what I do at home with my family is right next to our general bin, we have a box. Okay, so whenever you have all this plastic and everything that you want to recycle, instead of throwing them into the general bin, just shift your aim a little bit and throw them into the box. But of course, whenever you want to recycle something, you got to make sure to wash them so that you're not recycling something that's contaminated. And so when the box fills up, you just send it to a recycling center. Other than that, another way that I usually practice living sustainably is to try and avoid contributing to fast fashion as much as possible. And this is a bit tricky because oftentimes it's hard to know what's fast fashion and what's not. But what I usually do is I usually try to shop pre-loved items and clothes first before buying something that's brand new. For example, before shopping on Lazada or Shopee, just check out Carousel first if they have the things that you want. And oftentimes pre-loved items or clothes are cheaper than brand new things. And aside from that, what I try to do, or what I try to practice, is to save up as much money as possible and invest on a quality and sustainably sourced piece of clothing. And how do you tell if something is sustainably sourced is sometimes they'll have a tag that says, I'm sustainable, or a quick Google search would do the trick. But so those are the few ways that I try to practice living sustainably every day. So why do I think people need to inhabit more adherence when it comes to taking care of our planet? Is because adherence is really important when it comes to practicing sustainable living. And that's because, the more you do something, the more naturally it'll become to you, and it'll get to a point where you don't even feel like you have to go out of your way to take these environmentally conscious actions every day. To add on to that, it is understandable that people can get very easily discouraged when they do not see immediate results from pure environmentally conscious actions, right? And what I have to say to that is, if you think about it this way, the previous generations who has polluted our lands, air, our water, I'm pretty sure that they knew releasing toxic gases and chemicals into the environment is definitely going to be bad for us and for the environment. But it's because they did not see any immediate negative impacts or consequences that they kept going on with it, because it's convenient. And so with that in mind, I like to stress that whatever tiny actions you do today, even if you don't see an immediate impact, it is definitely not redundant. So with that being said, thank you so much for listening, and take care. Bye.